So have you ever made homemade hamburger buns? Well, the first time I did it, it was just kind of on a whim. I was in a baking mood and I decided that, hey, I want to make homemade buns today. And they came out so fabulously that I remember telling myself this was several years ago. I'm never going to buy store-bought buns again. I'm going to make them homemade because these are so much better. And they really are so much better. But I mean, come on, life's. And sometimes, and most of the time, you're gonna end up doing store-bought buns. But if you have the time or if you've got a special occasion, then making homemade hamburger buns, it's worth it. And really, they're very, very easy to make. So let me just show you how and we'll get into it. So this is Dit. My name is Amanda. And I like to say I'm home cooking with a dash of inspiration and a pinch of empowerment. Last week on my Instagram account, which is also called Dit, I posted some hamburger buns and I got comments that said, hey, you need to make these again and show us how, because that time I didn't do a video. And so here we are today. You can see in the corner here, I've got my Instant Pot going. Instead of hamburgers today, I'm making hot beef sandwiches. So we're gonna start with 1/4 cup of very warm water. Okay, so this is just tap water. It's warm enough to touch. It's not boiling. You don't want it to be boiling because that will actually kill off your yeast. It's just warm enough that it's gonna wake it up and also help kind of melt the honey. You could also just use regular sugar. So we're gonna start with 2.5 teaspoons of your favorite yeast. So I don't really actually measure, I just kind of eyeball stuff. And then a tablespoon or so of honey or sugar. This is to give the yeast some food to wake up to. Let's go ahead and this is just 1/4 cup of water, and I'm just gonna mix that in to break up the honey, get the yeast wet, and now we're going to let it bloom. And what that means is to make sure that your yeast is still active and not too old. It'll start to bubble up and actually be active. Okay, so next you're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of an oil. I'm just gonna eyeball it because you don't have to be precise with bread baking like you do with other types of baking. You can just kind of estimate it. That's an avocado oil. You could use coconut oil. It's really flexible. Olive oil would be okay. And then we're gonna add in 3.5 cups of flour. I'm using just plain white flour here, but I have used whole wheat flour in the past. And you can also do like half whole wheat and half white. And then we're gonna use 1 cup of milk. And so I like to always talk about substitutions because I'm a big believer in making recipes work for your family, and also just making sure, like, if you are out of milk, what could you use? You know, that kind of thing. So the milk just really gives the dough a really good texture. But let me tell you, last time I made this, I accidentally switched my milk and my water. So I had 1/4 cup of milk and 1 cup of water, and the bread was still really good. Now this one with a whole cup of milk is gonna be more rich and just more fluffy. It's gonna be delicious. But my little oopsie mistake makes me think that if you needed to use a milk alternative like an almond or oat milk, that it's probably gonna be okay. It just needs a moisture, right? Okay, then we're gonna add some salt. 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I'm using my dough hook and we're going to just mix this all together really well. Okay, so once your dough starts to come together like this, then we can pull it out, and I like to do some hand kneading. You can do it all in the machine, but I like to get a feel for it, and I like getting my hands in there, right? This dough came out a little bit on the dry side, but we'll get it together. Okay, so this is actually, see how crumbly it is? It's so funny. I usually end up with bread doughs on the wetter side. I live in a very humid climate, so maybe that has to do with it, but this is very dry. So what I'm gonna actually do is I've got a spray bottle of water, and I'm just gonna lightly kind of spray this and then work in the dough. And just keep hand kneading it until it comes together in a nice, soft, smooth ball. So I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And all I'm doing is I'm pushing down and away from me and rolling. And that's why I like to pull it out and do it by hand, because in the machine, like, you can keep doing it. I would have just overworked this dough until you get in there and you really kind of feel it. I think dough is just a very tactile experience, and you just kind of need to know what it should feel like. You want it to knead it until it's just really soft and silky. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'll be back in just a flash. So now I have kneaded it long enough that it's nice, shiny, and smooth, and that's the texture. Remember a while ago, it was just kind of crumbling apart, so you just want to knead it until you get it to this stage. And I'm going to spray the bowl and the bread. So spray it, that just so that it won't form a crust as it's rising. And then either with a kitchen towel or some plastic wrap, cover it up and put it in a warm spot and let it rise for about an hour, hour and a half. You want it to double in size. Okay guys, so we're back. It's been about an hour and a half. My house is cold today, so I ended up turning on my oven to try to just make it warmer. My dough did rise. It did not like get nearly as big as I had hoped, but I think it's just because my house is really chilly. If I had more time, I would punch it down and then let it rise again for another 20-30 minutes. But I am getting kind of tight on time, and we do need to let them rise a second time to make buns. So we're just gonna go with it and see what we get. That's what happens when you're going to record, right? Last week when I didn't record, oh my God, they came out so perfect. Okay, oh, I need to get a knife. Okay, so we're just going to cut the dough into 8 pieces. So I just, cut each half and then cut each half like that. And then we'll form little balls. So the beginning of the video, I said dot dot with a dash of inspiration and a pinch of empowerment. And lately in my videos, I've been trying to add a little bit of motivational talk to each one. And originally I had another idea, but today is my husband and it's our 19th anniversary. So we met back in 1999, and we've been married. We got married in 2003, and so we've been married for 19 years now. So I decided I just wanted to give like a little bitty story time while I made these buns. So basically, as you saw, I just cut them up rough, and then I'm going to shape them into little round balls, and they'll be like this at the bottom, and kind of just roll them and shape them until they're just cute little balls with the tucked in at the bottom. And then I have a greased cookie sheet that I'm going to place them on. So yeah, so we met in 1999. That was back when the internet, we had message boards. There wasn't a Facebook or anything like that, but there were these things called, what was the one that we were on called? ICQ. So comment down below if you remember ICQ, if you are as old as I am. And we did talk on ICQ, but we met actually on a campus. We both went to the same college, and we met on a campus message board that was just for students, and we got to talking. And so I went to a really, really big college, Texas A&M. It's a huge, huge campus. And he lived way on south side, and I lived on north side of campus. And we would kind of go to each other's dorms and hang out between classes. I was a sophomore and he was a senior when we met. So that was exciting. I was like, oh, I'm dating a senior. But then he graduated, and we had a couple years of a long distance relationship, which was really hard, but it also gave me a chance to really focus on school, because I wasn't really focusing too much on dating, except, I would drive to Dallas, which was about 3-hour drive on weekends, or he would come back to College Station, and we saw each other like every other weekend or so until I graduated in December of 2002. And then we got married in 2003. So 19 years, 19 years. So everyone's gonna ask, what did we do for our anniversary this year? We just decided to keep it really low key. We didn't really want to do anything super special. We just grabbed a lunch this last weekend. It was so pleasant, just got to visit, catch up. He's been working really hard. I've been focusing so much on growing my YouTube channel, and you know, we have teenage daughters now. So it was just really good to connect over lunch and just kind of reminisce about, you know, how our marriage has gone. Next year for our 20th anniversary, we are talking about maybe doing something a little bit bigger, but you know what? We take it year by year and we decide what we want to do each year. And some years we go big and elaborate, and some years we just do something small. Having an anniversary 2 weeks after Valentine's Day, and then his birthday was yesterday, so his birthday is always the day before our anniversary, kind of like sometimes overshadows anniversary. So super excited to be married to such a supportive husband, and love him with all my heart. It's a little bit of Amanda's story time. So you're going to take the balls and kind of spread them out because we want to give them a chance to rise up again, and we're going to cover them. And now I've got my oven preheated to 400, and I'm mostly preheating it this early just because, like I said, my house is just so cold today that my dough is not wanting to rise. So hopefully these will double in size. So we'll see what we get. Okay, so it's been about half an hour. They did double in size. This one still stayed a little bit smaller, but they did grow quite a bit. And now we are going to brush them with an egg. So far my husband hasn't been in any of my videos, but I did just go upstairs and get a photo with him. So I will insert the selfie that we took together. And if I have anything inspiration to add, it's just that, you know, 19 years of marriage takes a lot of work and communication. We've had ups and downs. We've had good days. We've had bad days. We've had layoffs. We've gone through 3 layoffs together as a family. We've moved cross country. Yeah, it's been adventurous. We had twins together. Oh, twins. Those early days of twins. Actually, my daughter Izzy asked me the other day, she said, were twins babies? Or no, it was actually my daughter Maddie. She said, were we harder as babies or teenagers? And I said, oh my gosh, that is such a hard answer, because honestly, it's just a different kind of hard. But having a husband who is right there, he literally got up with me for every single night feeding for the first 3 months. Ask me any father who's done that, and if your husband has done that, then they need to start a club together, because yes, I don't know how I would have done it without him getting up with me every single night feeding for the first 3 months. And he had to go to work, and but he made it through, and now our twins are 14 years old and right on the cusp of starting high school next year. So I've homeschooled their entire life, but next year we are talking about public high school for the first time in our family. So that'll be a whole new adventure to navigate together as a family. All right, so I preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and we're gonna pop these buns in for 20 minutes. If you have a dog, okay, Watson, sit. Raw egg is really good for them. Wait, leave it, break. So if you don't have another use for your egg there, I give it to my dog whenever I'm doing something like that, and it's really good for their coats, and he absolutely loves it. Oh my goodness, guys, I will never learn, I swear. Okay, double checking again. I was so excited to pull these out of the oven that I forgot to hit the mic. So, the mic button. So here they are out of the, whoa! I was trying to make them look pretty on my bamboo platter here. So here they are out of the oven. They are nice and shiny, golden brown. Oh, they smell amazing. The smell of fresh baked bread, you just can't even describe it. I already cut one open here. Like I said, I'm sorry, I just forgot that I was recording, but you know, I can show you another one. Super easy, right? I've got a serrated knife, and they just cut open really easy. You can see the steam come out of these because they're still really hot. But look how soft this bread is. Oh my gosh. If you could like bottle this, and they don't ever have a fresh baked bread scented candle, do they? Oh, it smells so good. All right, guys, so I made up a hot beef sandwich with some of the hot beef and red onion and some pickles. So let's give it a bite. This is the kind of sandwich that is just drip down your arms messy. So good. The bread is soft. It's delicious. I cannot wait to call the family down to eat their dinner. And I just made simple green beans to go with it. Absolutely delicious. Making homemade buns. It does take time because you have to wait for the dough to rise in between the steps. But honestly, like the actual cooking time, it's only 20 minutes in the oven. And it just takes maybe 10-15 minutes to put the dough together if you've got a KitchenAid. I hope you will try these buns out and let me know how they turned out. And I hope you will hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.